I still remember the way their laughter ricocheted off the walls of our cramped kitchen, sharp as knives. "Haunted shipwrecks? You're losing your mind," my brother said, throwing his head back, the sound mingling with the clinking of forks against plates. My parents exchanged glances, their eyes swirling with disbelief, contempt, pity, a cocktail of emotions that cut deeper than any blade. I had just returned from my first expedition, trembling with excitement. Clutching notes on the cursed wreck of the Aldarian, a ship lost to the sea under mysterious circumstances, all I received in return was ridicule, as if my passion for mapping haunted waters was a disease that tainted our family's name. "You'll disgrace us," my mother warned, her voice thin and wavering like a spider's silk thread stretching toward a gaping abyss. "Get a real job, for God's sake. Don't waste your life on this nonsense." But I could not abandon my pursuit, not after they pinned me as a scapegoat for that industrial accident, the one that took 2 lives. I became obsessed with the wrecks, the twisted steel, the rusted iron, the whispers of those who had drowned. I sank deeper into the ocean of my obsession, letting it pull me under, convinced that the truth lay hidden beneath the waves. For years, I ventured alone into the abyss, charting shipwrecks and documenting spectral encounters. I faced storms that threatened to tear my vessel apart, but I returned, each expedition reinforcing my resolve. I delved into the folklore of sailors, uncovering tales of vengeful spirits and curses, my work scoffed at by the very industry that had once shunned me. In the silence of the deep, I found solace, and also darkness, something that whispered through the currents, something that beckoned me to dive deeper. Fast forward to today, I stood before my childhood home, the paint peeling like the skin on a corpse, memories flooding back in waves of nostalgia and dread. The years had sculpted me into someone unrecognizable to my past self. The ridicule that once pierced my heart like a harpoon had transformed into a chilling recognition. I had become an expert, a voice on the haunted shipwreck phenomenon. I was no longer the family disgrace. I was a warning, a specter of what happens when you delve too deeply into the murky waters of the unknown. I knocked, each rap echoing through the hollow space inside. The door creaked open, and there they were, my family, aging, worn, yet still vibrant with disbelief. Their faces fell, eyes widening as they took in the weight I carried, the shadows that clung to me like a second skin. I wasn't here for forgiveness. I wasn't even sure I wanted it. "Look who finally came home," my father muttered, a hint of disdain creeping into his voice. "Enough," I said, my voice sharp and low. "I'm not here for your approval. I'm here to show you why I did what I did." I took a deep breath, feeling the chill of the air coil around me, thick with unspoken words. I pulled a small, waterlogged journal from my bag, pages yellowed and frayed, covered in cryptic sketches of shipwrecks and the entities that haunted them. With a trembling hand, I opened it, revealing entries filled with the truths I'd unearthed. "Listen," I urged, my voice rising in pitch. "The Aldarian wasn't just a shipwreck. It was a graveyard of souls, and I've seen them. I've spoken to them. They want you to know the truth." Their eyes darted among one another, skepticism etched into their features. I could almost hear the gears grinding in their minds, the familiar thoughts of insanity, delusion, and fear. But I pressed on, haunted by the memories of their laughter, their taunts. "You think I'm mad? You don't know what it's like to hear the cries of the drowned." And then something shifted. The atmosphere thickened, a palpable tension swirling in the room. I could feel the weight of the darkness I'd faced, the souls that lingered, hungering for recognition. They danced beneath the surface of my consciousness, and I knew they could sense the disbelief radiating from my family. Before I could warn them, the air turned icy, and shadows flickered behind me, twisting and curling like smoke. I felt the presence of something far older than our family, something that had been waiting, lurking within my words. The lights dimmed, and a low rumble echoed through the walls. "Why are you doing this?" my mother cried, her voice trembling as the shadows expanded, filling the room with a depth of despair. "Because you need to understand," I replied, heart racing. "What you mocked is very real." In that moment, the shadows surged forth, encircling my family, their forms shifting into indistinct figures, faces distorted in torment. They gasped, their laughter swallowed by the dread I had once felt, now mirrored back at them in grotesque reflection. The spirits of the drowned had come to bear witness. My family's ridicule transformed into a haunting tableau of horror. I watched as their expressions morphed from disbelief to terror, understanding dawning too late. My brother cried out, stumbling back against the wall, my parents clutching each other as the shadows swirled around them, filling the room with a suffocating darkness. Their mocking words echoed in my mind, now meaningless against the weight of the truth I had uncovered. "Please," my father shouted, but it was too late. The darkness closed in, whispering secrets of the depths. Beneath the surface of laughter, of scorn, lay the truth that had eluded them. As the shadows receded, I stood alone, the haunting silence settling like a shroud. My family was gone, lost to the depths of their own disbelief, swallowed by the very shadows they had dismissed. I had become what they feared, a harbinger of the darkness lurking beneath the surface. I left the house, the whispers of the spirits trailing behind me, an unbreakable bond forged in the depths of despair. I was no longer just a cartographer of haunted wrecks. I was a keeper of secrets, an unwitting guardian of truths too terrible to confront. And as I walked away, I knew that the world would never forget the horrors I had faced, and the cost of ignorance, an echo that would resonate forever in the haunted depths of the sea.